of the this Jubilee singers together with the energy and dignity of the ancestors that sang the music and bring them together, especially when we're wearing our black and pearls.
Hey.
I deliberately did not want to do the African garb because everybody else was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are some I've seen that make it undignified. I really don't feel worthy of doing that because it gives off a very commercial type thing, and I didn't want to do that. I've never wanted to do that. So we found something that worked for us. And it's always been about bringing dignity to the music and the ancestors, because they can't do it for themselves now. We have to do it. And this young boy, this young man, who's never heard of spirituals, must know the dignity in the music. If you look at photographs of the ancestors, they're always like this, looking straight into that camera. I say looking straight into your eyes, never down, never away. It's like, we're going to take a picture, and they all. This way. I still wanna let the dove come in. I still wanna let the dove come in. Oh, Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna let the dove come in. Oh, Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna let the dove come in. I still wanna let the dove come in. I still wanna let the dove come in. Oh, Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna Nora. I still wanna let the dove come in. Oh, where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm going to send thee 10 by 10, 10 for 10 for the hand, 9 for the 9 that got left behind, 8 for the 8 that stood at the gate, 7 for the 7 that went up to heaven, 6 for the 6 that couldn't get fixed, 5 for the gospel preachers, 4 for the 4 came knocking at the door, 3 for the Hebrew children, 2 for Paul and Silas, 1 for the little baby was born in Bethlehem.
How the ring shout is different from the praise house? Or is it?
It's something that would have been done in the praise house. The ring shout is a circle that's counterclockwise. Sometimes they did that ring shout around the altar or something, but yeah, it was just something that was done in the praise house. In the praise house was about being as free as the ancestors could have been at one time. This was their place of work. This was where they let it out, where they shouted all this crazy. I can't even begin to imagine the depths of the depression. very thing that caused their depression in the first place. They're owned. Their property. And they weren't born into slavery. The first people brought to America were not born into slavery. They were kidnapped and brought here. So they know what freedom was and spent a lot of time trying to get away by way of the Underground Railroad and songs like Swing Low. I spoke with a young man, and a lot of people don't even, there are folks who do not know what the spirituals are. I talked to a young man just recently where I said spirituals. And he said, what's that? So I had to, and he fancies himself a rap artist. I said, you think you came up with all these rhythms and rhythms? It goes back to, it goes back, and he honestly said, if I could get the word, can I call you back and get it? Yeah, call me back. Because he needs to know. Right. You need to know your history. Because if you don't know your history, you're bound to be caught up in it and you not know that you're caught up in it. Mm-hmm. So we need to know that. My hat's off to Jewish families who educate their children about the Holocaust. It's an ugly history, but it's ours, so that we don't repeat it. Songs like "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" were coded message songs, and the ancestors, and I choose to call them ancestors, use biblical references to send messages to those who wanted to escape. Canada was referred to as Canaan. Chariot, the Underground Railroad was referred to as the Chariot. The guides along the way that guided you up north and wherever were called conductors. And of course, we know the most famous one is Harriet Tubman, who is going to be the first woman pictured on the United States currency. Yes.
Praise House, and just say a little bit about that and anything that you're doing with that group.
Well, it's total 6 of us now. There used to be 5. And we do a presentation at the Circular Church on the 1st, 3rd, and if there ever are any, 5th Tuesdays at the Lance Hall, which is in the back. I just like the space. We can configure the seats where we're doing this and draw people into singing the spirituals a cappella. And we get people singing along with us. Pretty much, it's very laid back, very relaxed, but we've gotten some very positive feedback for it. And it's how the spirituals are sung. We don't profess to be the fistulary singers, God bless them, keep their souls. We simply sing the songs that the ancestors would have sung during their praise house or camp meeting. It's their place to have service the way they wanted. Yes, they attended to the churches and the masters, but when they wanted to worship, the way they knew how, the hand clap, the foot stomp, the shout, the ring shout, all that. This is what they
There is hope in the bright and morning star. There is hope in the bright and morning star. There is hope in the bright and morning star. Amen.
these are the song sheets we use, and I tell them, you've got something in your hands the ancestors do not have. These are the songs we actually use for that that service, so to speak. And that's basically it in a nutshell. We sing, we clap, we shout, we invite people, and people have done it to be a part of it. It's very open, spontaneous, because we never quite know who's coming, what the response will be, but we simply just keep doing it.
How'd you come together?
That's a $30,000 million question. A gentleman I was dating at the time actually put together, and at one time we were about 14 strong, and people kept dropping off and go back and get them and bring them back, and they'd drop off and the relationship came to an end, and I stopped chasing people, and I waited to see how much farther is it going to stop before it stops dropping. And it got down to, at that time, 4 people. So it was 5 of us that sang spirituals. And we've been doing it ever since. All of us come from different churches. My sister is one of the singers. And it's now 5 women and 1 male. And these are folks who are active in their church choirs and such. John and I probably have a little bit more theatrical experience than the others, but that kind of keeps it from being too sanitized. Yeah, there's probably a better word, but I can't think of it right now. So they bring the church / theatrical thing into it, and we try to show people actually what would have been done in a praise house experience. The ring shout, the talking back and forth, the call and response, all that. It is a very free and open. All right, Sister Jan, it's on you. You can do this. You can do this. The power is in you.
All right, come on, she ready to sing. Caldwell, she got this.
Okay.
Come on.
And help me and say, yes.
Yes. Come on, we got this.
You got it.
We got this.
I'm getting rid of the room.
That's a
Sister.
Yeah.
But
And I know, because I've been to it a few times, it's also like, it's not necessarily a reenactment, it's just continuing on doing that tradition, and it feels very in the moment and spontaneous as you do it. It's a beautiful thing.
we're not trying to recreate slavery.
Lord, no.
But it's a way to keep the music of the ancestors alive. That's what makes people remember them.
Right.
This music didn't just happen last year.
Right.
This is music that's old. There's about 6,000 spirituals documented. And there's probably more, but we're talking about a group of people who could not read or write the new language that they were now a part of. It wasn't that they were ignorant, they just didn't know the language. And eventually developed their own language that actually Southern slaveholders' children spoke Gullah as a first language. And once it's in them, you cannot get it out. Yeah, try as they might, you can't stop that. Because the children were kept by the ancestors whenever the ancestors went to church. St. Michael's has the Society for the Preservation of the Spirituals is an all-white organization. And you can tell that they accompanied their babysitters, I would call them, to their services by their movements. You know, it's a movement for them is, you know, when you it's a little bit stiffer for them when they're doing this, but for us that's different when we do it.
It's fluid.
Yeah, it is. And we know about keeping the foot on the floor, so you're not accused of doing hoochie coochie dances. Free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Break the sweet of sound, stay red free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, with no less days to sing God's praise. When we were free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last.